Today I'm going to be sowing some parsnips. A particular favourite of mine, a lot of other growers, is this Gladiator F1. There are a few ways of growing your parsnips, sowing and that. Some people prefer to chit them on a bit of damp paper. Well, for me personally, I like to sow direct into prepared holes, and that way there's less chance of disturbing the taproot. Parsnips are very similar to carrots in that they like very fine soil, not too much nutrient, and definitely no stones. And so for that I'm going to be sifting the soil. This compost that I'm using is called Bathgate's Champions Blend. It's an all-purpose compost with a few additives, and running it through the sieve it is quite fine. You don't get much bits of rubbish in. As you can see from that, it produces a nice tilth. So now we need to get the holes prepared. Now this is the bed that I'm going to be sowing the parsnips in. Just a little tip here, I prefer to give the soil a light watering, and that helps then to retain the shape of the cone as you bore them out in the soil. The parsnips I usually do 6 in a row, and today I'll be sowing 36, so that'll be 6 rows in altogether. Because it's even spacing, I use my old faithful marking out board. This board's the exact correct length for the bed, and I've just put a series of holes in various spacings. You may have noticed there's a tape marker on the pole which lets me knock the metal pole into the same depth all the time, and just rotate this, keep increasing the diameter so you form a cone, and usually aim to get around about 4 inches 10 centimetres across the mouth diameter, and that's it. Watering the soil has paid off because the hole is still retaining its shape. I'm not sure how well this will show up because of the shadows, but that's a reasonably formed conical hole there, and that will now be filled with the sifted soil. So this is the normal sifted soil we've just done. Got a little funnel. I just fill the hole up right the way up to the top. Might need to use a little cane just to help it down. With each hole filled now with the sifted soil, just like to give them a drop of water on the top to settle the soil down before we start sowing. Next I fit these little collars, them just plastic drain pipe down pipes, around about 70-80 millimetres long. Just like they press them into the ground, and what that does, it protects the seeds while they're emerging, and also when you're hoeing it stops you risk damaging the seedlings. In theory these should come off once you've chopped them down to one seedling, but usually I forget to take mine off and the end of the parsnip grows inside and difficult to get off. That's the parsnip bed already. In the end I did 8 in a row, 4 rows, total 32, and all the protection collars are now in place. Just a little note here, when you do add the protection collars you may just have to top the soil up in there again, as I've done with every one of these. I have also given them water and just tamped the soil down in there, so they're now ready to accept the seeds. Right, I'm about to sow the parsnip seed now. Now parsnip seeds can be very, very temperamental regarding germination. So one rule of mine, personal preference, I never ever use old seed. The seed I always buy fresh every season. Parsnip seed is very flat and flimsy, so if possible try and sow when there's no wind about. I tend to put 4 or 5 seeds fairly close together towards the centre of the collar, and then I'll pick the best of those that germinate. So with all the seeds sown, I'm just topping the discs up now to the top. This is just the sieve compost with a bit of added vermiculite, and all I'll do then is give them a little light watering in to settle them. I just popped a couple of Enviromesh frames on the top to protect them, just in case the fox pays us a visit overnight. And we're still encountering a few low temperatures during the night, so the germination might take a little bit longer. After seeing Alan's setup off the Dawn Chorus, it got some quad grow system. I've just ordered one of those, and I think they call it Murphy's Law. I've just had this little 4-pot. This is an auto pot system off another grower that's actually packing everything in, so it'll be interesting to compare the two systems. But first of all, I'll need to give this a clean out, and I think I'm going to be putting my cucumbers in this. In the greenhouse in my garden, these are my cucumbers. These are in 12 centimetre pots about. As you can see, them in dire need for potting on. We've even got some fruit on there, look. These are the Swede that we sowed not so long ago, and as you can see, they've had fairly good germination. So what I'm going to do is prick them out. I've got some 10 cell trays here, 3 in total, so 30 in all. It's just multi-purpose compost. I'll prick them out, give them a watering, and then pop them straight into the coal frame. Try and get a decent root ball out if you can. Pop a little hole in. But it doesn't matter if you pop these down right up to the seed leaves, because they're classed as a brassica, they'll be okay. In the end, there was more than enough. I managed to get 4 trays out, that's 40 plants in all. One of the other pot holders kindly donated me some very fine log ash. I put this on top of the onion bed 3 or 4 days ago, and we've got some rain forecast due the next 2 days, so I'm going to just till this in and let the rain wash it farther down. A little while back I sowed some sweet corn in germinated on kitchen roll. Did my usual, completely forgot about them, and luckily there's in a sill bag, so the moisture looked after itself. But this is what's turned out, and I'm pretty happy with that. The chitted sweet corn I've used to fill the gaps in these root trainers, and I've got a couple left. I'll put them in pots. Just an update on the Blue Lake, different story there. I had no germination at all, but the seed was, I think it was 2 or 3 years old, so I put fresh seed in there, re-topped it up, and I'm trying germination, chitting on there again, so there's 18 seeds in there. Just cover them up with the damp kitchen roll and see how they go. There's another row of peas ready to go in here, and these were sown in different compost. These were sown in the Bathgate. The original pea gutters I did was sown in the sheep's wool, and these seem to have germinated much quicker. There's the ones there. They're about 2 to 3 weeks longer in the ground. With the 3 rows of peas in now, I've put a little mesh over the top, or builder's scaffold net, and that there is just to let them get going. And we'll be putting the supports up the middles of the rows, and then, but I think I will drape another net because we seem to have a problem on this site with the sparrows trying to take the tips of the plants out. While the tomatoes are in the greenhouse waiting to go into their final positions, I'm just giving a foliar feed here. This is a liquid seaweed, and I'm using the Flit sprayer. I've had a little sort out in the greenhouse, and I've moved 6 or 7 trays of onions in here. I'm just going to leave these here. These are ready to go out, but got a little cold spell coming day or two. Shouldn't hurt them, but I can afford to leave them for another maybe a week at the most before they go in. And at the back there we've got the brassicas. Some of them are starting to go a bit tingy. I think they're a bit hungry as well because they've been in those pots for ages. So hopefully tomorrow we'll have another nice day and I'll get some of those in. A few more defensive issues here. When I opened up this morning, there was a couple of divots dug out there. The fox had been in, you could see paw prints. So I'm just putting mesh over. I've just got to find another piece for this one. As you can see, I've just put the covers on the potatoes because although the sun's just going down, it's really dropped cold and so I think we've got frost tonight, maybe tomorrow and all. So until next time, I'll see you later. Bye for now.